Good morning, my YouTube family and friends. I don't know if y'all can see me or not. I think you can a little bit. I just dropped my, well, first of all, if you have not said it already, let's say it together. Thank you, Jesus, for another day. It's a blessing to be alive, y'all. And I'm going to be honest, I was straining a little bit this morning because we had to drop her off at the airport. She had to be there. Well, we got up at 3, and which is it's almost, I think it's almost 4:30 now. But anyway, had to drop her off, and so she's all dropped off at the airport, and she just texted me saying she was able to check in an hour early. she don't like that part, but she'll be okay because it's good. I'd rather be. We want to be for something, especially for flying out. You want to get there early than late. So, okay, make sure I'm going the right way, y'all. But anyway, she's all waiting to board her flight. And I know she's gonna have a safe, wonderful flight. Jesus already got in the plane before it even get in the air. She'll get to Chicago. I think she'll arrive in Chicago around 9 this morning. Because I think they're on they're hour behind us, I think. So I'm sorry, they're an hour I think ahead of us. I think, if I'm not mistaken. Y'all, I've been on the Eastern time forever, and I try to keep up with all the different time zones. But so yeah, we got her all set, and I had woke up at set the alarm for 3, and then I sat up in the bed, and then I was thinking I was gonna, I was waiting on her, and she was already in the already dressed and everything. So that young lady is she's always on it. That's why she's a straight A student. So she reminds me so much of her late father, because that's how he was. He knew what he had to do, and he just did it. He just did it. So, and that's a good way to be. It really is. So yeah, I'm headed back home. She'll have to Uber from the airport in Chicago back to her dorm. So she'll told her to let me know, and then I'll send her the funds to do that. For some reason though, it's so expensive there. It's so much more expensive there than it is here. But she's like, Mom, it's almost an hour drive. And I was like, oh, I didn't know. Maybe that's why. Because from here, not here, because we picked her up here. We always drop her off and pick her up. But there going, it was only 30. I think it was like when she had to be, coming here for 2 weeks ago. It was only, the Uber was only $30, I think, 30 something dollars or something like that. And now she was just trying to, schedule it ahead of time, reserve it. That's what I'm trying to say. And it was saying almost $100, and I was like, wonder why it's so much. But she's like, well, either way, I gotta get back to the dorm. I was like, yeah, sweetie, you do, but I'm just trying to figure out. I mean, you gonna get there. I'm gonna pay for it, but I was just trying to figure out why was it so much, But I don't know, y'all. I think a lot of times too. I noticed that when I was using it, they hike up the prices. On certain days, and I think certain days and times are considered peak times for them, or whatever, or real, high traffic or high volume, whatever you want to say, and I think they can do that. It allows them to do that, and they know that the person is gonna pay for it because they need the service. So that's another thing. So they're not gonna be out. They're gonna be in because they know it's a need for it, so it's gonna happen for the person. there this morning was pretty. It was so smooth, and I prayed for that. I said, Lord, just make it smooth for me and for her. And she was quiet the whole way. You know, me driving her there, because it was like from where we live, it was like it's 30 minutes. So I'm glad she told me last night, she said, Mom, because I shampooed my hair, and you know, I didn't get into bed till almost 11. I think it was after 11. And she was telling me, she said, Mommy, you need to get into bed because we got to get up early. I said, that's okay. I'm up at 3 anyway most of the time. But it's a difference, y'all, when you up at 3 and you actually out of the house at 3. It's a big difference. So I was reminded this morning how different it really is. But it wasn't hard at all. I mean, like I said, I'm learning in this season, y'all, you do what you need to do. You know, and that's, I'm sure you do it. Everybody do it. It's just it's just what we do for our children, for whoever. And so, when it comes to them, it's nothing. It's we just gonna do it. We're gonna get it done. It's gonna happen. So someone had told me, I don't know if it was at church. I think it was at work. One of my coworkers had said, they were trying to make me feel better. This was when before we started doing all, when I was actually going picking her up, driving her and stuff. But the coworker, she said, "You're a good mama," and I said, "Well, I sure try to be." I said, "I sure try to be." I said, "I've come a long way, because and I know that's one of the things Jesus is helping me with. I used to be so selfish and so just so self-centered, just so into myself. And when my husband was living, I'd still be sleeping in the bed. I'm just gonna be honest. I'd still be in the bed, and he would be taking whoever to the airport. And I'd be like, he'll take care of it. He'll do it. But a lot, like I said, that's one thing. I may do a video on that, upload a video about that. But that's one thing that I sort of wish that I had taken more initiative on. And it's life, it's common sense. But like I said, I was telling the ladies when I was taking my youngest daughter, to get her glasses. She had to get the glasses while she was here. And I was telling them, I said, I'm having to do a lot of stuff that I've never had to do. And they were just smiling. But, and not being braggy, or I wasn't trying to be showy or nothing, but I was just letting them know, because it's a big reality check. When you having to do stuff you've never done, and you're thrust into it, you pushed into it. It ain't no slide and glide in it. You're thrown into it. You landed, you're gonna land on your feet. But you like, your eyes are wide open. You like, hey, I gotta get this done. So that's me. That's me, y'all. So, but God is helping me. I thank him. I was just thanking him. Because I like I said, I've shared before, I've always been labeled as I don't know anything, and back from family members, before my late husband passed away, they never called me any names or anything, but they said it real nice, basically, like I didn't know nothing, which I did. I knew a lot actually, but I never had to utilize what I did know, because it's like my brain was just on still mode, because sit mode or whatever, because I never had to utilize none of that. But when he passed away, I had to use a lot of my brain power. I did, and I'm still having to do that. So, but I'll give myself grace, because I believe I'm doing pretty well. But it's all because of God helping me. Yeah, I don't get no credit. He's helping me. There's a song. It's whoever, family, friends, whoever, they want you to fail, and you know, I'm just being real. You know, they don't want you to do well and stuff. They want you to fall on your face, but God said, you're not gonna do that. You're gonna succeed in everything that you put your hand to. So, you know, and like I said, I just I knew, you know, I know how to do stuff. I always have, but I just, you know, I've never had to do it because my late husband, he did a lot of stuff for me, and I know that wasn't fair to him in our marriage. You know, that wasn't fair because, you know, no one person should have to take the load on everything. You know, that's unfair. That's very unfair. But he took it all in stride, and he, you know, he just did what he needed to do. And I believe he knew. I believe he knew that he needed to help me. You know, I could have did it myself, but on some of that stuff he was just real good at. You know, and you know, our bills and everything. But I could have, cause he used to drill me. He would say, how much is the you know, he's like, how much is the light bill, or how much is the, and I say, you know, or how much, when we have to pay that, you know. And then I think about that, y'all. That was the Lord speaking through him. I thought about this. I think about a lot of stuff, but I reflect, you know, late at night. I just, you know, think about stuff. But I believe, I really do believe that he knew that his time wasn't going to be long. I don't think, of course, I don't think he knew how much longer he had, but I think he knew, I believe he knew that it wasn't going to be long. Like, I believe he knew, he, you know, he wasn't going to live like 4 more years. You know, I think he knew that part. That was revealed to him. But he just didn't know, you know, exactly when, you know, he was going to pass away. But I think he knew his time was going to be short. But because he like I said, he would, you know, ask me about that. He would drill me, and I could have cared less about that. I didn't care about that. I was like, you know, I would just be like, okay, and then he would ask me. It was this one thing. What is it? Trying to think. What's the word? I get in my account. It's automatically funds that are in my accounted each month. And he said, how much is that? And I couldn't even, and I should have known that. If I didn't know anything else, I should have known that. And I couldn't even think of that. I said, I don't. He just kind of shake his head, you know, like, you know, basically he wouldn't, but he would tell me in a loving way. He said, you know, you don't know that, you need to know that. And I said, yeah, but, you know, I didn't see a need to know it. It wasn't a need to know for me, because I was just like, whatever, you know, he'll take care of it. But that was careless. It was very careless. It was very selfish, you know, all of that. But like I said, y'all, it's I was listening to a lady. She's was I don't know if she's remarried or whatever, but I was watching her she got a video on YouTube, and it just came up in my feed, and she was basically, you know, telling how, you know, how she you know, from her husband passing away, how she, you know, it was, you know, just reality, how, you know, you got to learn stuff, you got to figure out stuff. And like I said, she was saying, one thing I liked about what she was saying about how we get so comfortable in our day-to-day life, and that's so true. And that's what I was sharing with my coworkers. You know, I was letting them know, you know, death don't have no it ain't gonna it don't have no whatever. When it happens, and you gotta, you know. But people, she was saying too, you know, that people that she was trying to, you know, tell stuff to and help, they didn't want to talk about it, and they don't. Nobody wants to talk about that, but because they're comfortable, And when I try to, you know, sometimes when I share my testimony with people at church or whatever, you know, I can almost feel it, like, you know, I made it home, y'all. I can feel it in my spirit. You know, they like, what you telling me that for? My husband's still living, you know. But I'm like, things can change. Things can change. And I'm trying to help you. I'm telling you some information that's going to help you. Because didn't nobody ever tell me. But y'all, I done made it home. I don't know if you can see me, but I think I may try to upload this video. But I'll talk to y'all later today. Bye-bye.